Hey, what's up, bro? What are you doing? Not much, just hanging out. Hello, my sweet angels. Welcome back to another video. We are gonna close out the new year together, obviously. I want to do a little New Year's series because I love New Year's. Even when New Year's Eve night is a bust, which happens sometimes to the best of us. Probably my favorite holiday. I just really like the collective intention setting. There's something really nice and pleasant about everyone just like getting excited for another year. Though I do always believe that I'm like, transformation and time and restarting, rebirthing, a daily process, if you will. For this video, I thought I would just share some thoughts and reflections I had, like maybe my biggest takeaways around the year, and then, yeah, go from there. And I think I'll do a series, probably 4 parts, I think, ringing in the new year. Boy, oh boy. Okay, I'm not going to do a whole rundown of like every little moment in the year, but I feel like I had to mention just moving into this spot last New Year's Eve day. So it's been a whole year, which feels crazy that it's already been a year, but also like I've lived here forever. It feels like I've spent my entire life here, which I love. I feel so grateful for this spot. It has been such a important backdrop for me to move into. It just feels like it was always supposed to be, or I was always supposed to live here. I just I love living here. I don't have this crazy highlight reel from this year. I had a really beautiful year. I established some really nice friendships, and I learned so much about myself in a way that is exciting. Even in the past few months that I guess I haven't made a video in a second, but it's like I found the final puzzle pieces, and it's like you see where they go and you're putting them in, and it gets really exciting, and you're like, oh my gosh, yes, this goes there, and that was always there, and that da-da-da-da-da. And that is a really exciting place to be in, and I'm just tying up this bow on this chapter in my life that has been very tumultuous and hard. It has been really hard, and I think for a long time I've held so much shame around the chapter I've been in because it has been so internal and it has been quite isolated, and it's easy to feel really stupid for that, and it feels really dumb sometimes. And I'm sad that that voice even gets to my head, that I just feel like, well, what do I have to show for it? And in reality, I have everything to show for it. Like for myself, I see the ways that I just handle life so differently. I do think it's really easy to get stuck in this healing trap, which I could talk about forever. And eventually you get to the point that you just accept where you are, and it is all about acceptance. And it's this simple thing that you spin all these webs and weaves and go around in circles forever just to get to a point that's maybe just slightly higher than the point that you even started. And that is like the great cosmic joke that is so funny, and one that I'm sure I'm gonna keep learning over and over again. But I have felt like this time is so important, and really starting to realize in hindsight just how each phase of life is interwoven into the next, and how you need to see certain things and be a certain way in order to enter into the next level or chapter or whatever. And as I'm feeling this one come to a close, which the fact that I'm having hindsight about it is the most beautiful thing, because for the longest time I felt like I was never gonna get to the other side, but since the hindsight knowledge is kicking in, it means that I'm out of it, at least mostly out of it, because there's something to look back on. So that's good. Had some hard goodbyes at the end of this year. I finally said my final goodbye to Bo and Poema, which I can't believe I also just met them the end of last year. They were just these key players in the past year of my life, and obviously it's not over, but it's changing and has changed, and they live in Amsterdam now, and it was so hard for me to say goodbye. Sadder than I could have imagined. And Phil is leaving, which is so sad. My neighbor Phil, who I refer to as my guardian angel because he's just been so helpful for me.
Hello?
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 Hello? And has been this very key player in just the past year, just this 1 year deal. And I'm excited for his next chapter and to see him move on to something else. But it is just very interesting to have these people come into my life suddenly and then also have them gone so soon. It's like, why gone so soon? You know, it's just a part of... Whoa, it got so crazy in here. A part of life. But even as I reflect on this, I'm like, wow, it is so bittersweet. Kids are victims in this story. Makes me so happy that these people exist and have been in my life, and things ebb and flow and change, and friendships are constantly changing and relationships are constantly changing, and a big lesson on enjoying things and having 2 feet in when I'm there. And I think that's a lesson on presence and not trying to escape the ultimate, which is that things change and people leave and they end, and that's just the truth. And yeah, a huge thing for me, I think, is 2 feet in. No more 1 foot in, 1 foot out, Jenny. Like, no more driving with the brakes on. This isn't saying, like, just go do and be crazy and do bad things for you with 2 feet in when you know you shouldn't. But on the things that bring me joy and that I want to experience and live, yeah, I can't do it. I can't do the 1 foot in, 1 foot out anymore. That's, again, also a big lesson. 2 feet in. 2 feet in staying at home. 2 feet in hanging out with friends. 2 feet in with my work. 2 feet in. Just like 2 feet in. I know we're so wired to kind of put these protective measures in, or like, it's like I have something dragging behind me. A constant hedging of bets. It is the dull ache. It is the resistance that I feel. It is like the problem is just itself. Like, it's just the funny thing. You're just hearing me kind of unwind some of these funny, laughable, hee hee ha ha cosmic jokes that, you know, at some point I'm like, I've done all of the unwinding. I've done the why do I do these things? How do I do these things? Da da da. And then at some point it's just like time to let go. And keep letting go, and then see what happens. Okay, honestly, I think those are some big themes and are good to end on those. I think lastly, what I have been thinking about is taking yourself out of a box, you know, this place that you used to exist in, be in, a place of being, doing all this untangling, and then trying to fit yourself back into the same place. It's so funny to me, like, as we say things simply, they sound so silly, but I catch myself doing that a lot, that I'll do all of this inner workings, like see things a different way and have all these insights about them, about why something's happening and how it's happening, and then I'll catch myself trying to be like, but what if I get to keep everything from this old way of being, but like just do it slightly different, but then like still fall back into like the same things, but now I just see them differently, and it's like this cycle that keeps perpetuating, that I won't just like step into the change that I like see needs to happen, but I'm like, well, what if I could just sneak it back and I could stay the same, but try to be different at the same time? And like, it's that butting of heads that just does not work. Like, it cannot compute. And I do think that's where like these practices, I mean, I think I feel like I deal so much more with like thinking in the head and the mind, and I like thinking about the ways that everything connects. But then there's this bodily, like, groundingness that needs to happen, like, nervous system regulation, like, where you feel safe to change, like, safe to take these steps into, like, a new way of being. If you, like, actually want to change your life and the way things are, like, you have to get your body and mind on board, which is feeling calm and safe. Like, all of these things all do tie together. And you have to have both kind of at the same time, and like this perfect storm of like really allowing yourself to step into a new way of being And all of these things are so complex. Like, I feel just endlessly fascinating with how complex they are. So it's also so easy to be hard on ourselves, but we just have so many systems working at once that need like such specific things to work together. And I think a lot of us are also not taught shit about the way our minds work and the way our bodies work. And yeah, I do feel like endlessly fascinated with talking about and sharing about those things because they're so important and all very intrinsically tied together. And yeah, I don't know, that's been my year. How are you guys? Some nice trips. Like, I could tell you about all the things I did. They were nice. I went to the desert. I went to Canada. I went to a bunch of warehouse parties and danced all night. I saw my family. I had a good time. I had a good time too. I totally had a good time. And also came to these conclusions. Yes. Okay. Well, I hope you enjoyed, and the next portion probably won't be as like serious, whatever. Illy. See you so soon next week in the next one.